and number 42, Massimo Mirabelli. And now, TFC2 fans, please welcome tonight's starting 11, led by head coach Jason Bent, number 1 goalkeeper Chris Kanapka, number 32 Wesley Sharpie, number 33 Skylar Thomas, number 59 Amiga Alanye, number 44 Mark Anthony Cave, your captain and number 20, Chris Manella. Number 34, Manuel Apricio. Number 61, Boba Job. Number 41, Mo Babuli. Number 14, Jane Chapman. And number 22, Jordan Hamilton. Let's give it up for the starting lineup of Toronto FC2.
Wow, I'm honored that you think this is stage.
Toronto FC stars, old and new, take over the Ontario Soccer Centre tonight. Former TFC great Dwayne Di Rosario and current midfielder Jonathan Osorio took some time to sign autographs before the game tonight. Defender Nick Hagelin and goalkeeper Chris Kanapka joined the club down from the first team as TFC2 look for back-to-back wins for the first time in franchise history. Hello everyone, welcome to the Ontario Soccer Centre. I'm Mantico Antonio, joined by Chantal Blais. Tonight, it's Toronto FC2 taking on the Harrisburg City Islanders. Let's take a look at the starting lineups. TFC2 led by goalkeeper Chris Kanapka, 5-3-3 in 11 matches with the first club this season. Mo Babuli draws back into the starting 11 after coming off the bench in the previous 2 matches. Jay Chapman and Chris Manella in the starting 11 back from Saturday. Chapman and Jordan Hamilton had excellent chemistry in that game on Saturday. For the Harrisburg City Islanders, their leading goal scorer is Jason Plumoff. He leads the team with 5. It's a very balanced offensive attack. 5 players with at least 3 goals this season. Nick Noble has played in goal in every game but 1 this season for the visitors tonight. On Saturday for Toronto FC2, they pulled out a 2-1 victory thanks to an injury time goal from substitute Massimo Mirabelli. TFC fell behind in the 55th minute, but Mo Babuli came off the bench and tied it 20 minutes later to set up Mirabelli's dramatic winner. Toronto also had Jay Chapman and Chris Manella back in the lineup as mentioned. That was probably the strongest side they fielded in quite some time, and it showed, Chantal, as they carried the pace of that game on Saturday.
Definitely. Having Manella and Chapman out there, they made no mistake. They were calm and collected when they had the ball. They carried most of the possession, and Toronto just looked a lot calmer than they have in previous games.
Tonight is the second meeting of the season between these two clubs. In their first matchup back on June 6th in Harrisburg City, they played to a 0-0 draw, but that scoreline might flatter Toronto a little bit. They were outshot 17-3 in that game. Quillen Roberts was forced to make 10 saves to steal a point for the Reds. Chantal, Harrisburg City averages the most goals against per game in the entire USL, over 2 goals against per game, and Toronto has suddenly found a little bit of an offensive surge. What is the key for Toronto FC2 tonight to pull out 3 points?
Well, they're coming off that big win, so they need to carry that momentum over. Last match, they started the game strong. They showed great character coming from behind. They need to ride this momentum, come out strong again, and set the pace early, especially with more veteran presence with Kanapka taking control from the back. So if they keep it tight defensively and be patient in attack and capitalize when they can, they should get the 3 points.
The Islanders have alternated wins and losses in their last 9 matches, going 4-5 in that span. They have a balanced offensive attack, as I mentioned off the top. Who are some of the players to keep an eye on tonight for the Islanders?
You touched on him earlier. Jason Plumoff leads his team with 5 goals, so keeping an eye on him will be a focus for Toronto. The Islanders were without Jan Ekra last game, so having him back in the lineup will help them. And keep an eye on striker Craig Foster. He's speedy and he's skilled. He wasn't afraid to high press, so Toronto must keep it tight in the back and keep an eye on him as well.
Mentioned in the intro tonight, midfielder Nick Hagelin is with the club as well. He is on the reserves list, not in the starting lineup. We expect to see him at some point in this game, probably just after halftime. He played 9 minutes on Saturday for the first team in New York against the Red Bulls. It was his first action since July 12th against New York City FC. He actually had his appendix removed on July 16th and missed the next 5 matches, so this is an opportunity for him to work himself back into game shape ahead of a big game for Toronto FC as they move forward in that Eastern Conference playoff race.
Definitely. Getting him on at any point in this game will be great for his confidence, get him touches on the ball, get him working with guys who he has practiced with, so we will be familiar with the style of play that Jason Bent wants these guys to play.
Chris Konopka also has not played since July 12th in New York City. He gave up 4 goals in a 4-4 draw. He received a 1-match suspension for an incident in that match. In 11 games this season, as mentioned, 5-3-3, 3 shutouts in that span. He's allowed 16 goals on 52 shots. Another note for Toronto, Massimo Mirabelli. He was named to the USL Team of the Week for Week 22. It's the 6th time this season a Toronto player has been named to the USL Team of the Week. Mo Babuli, Skylar Thomas, and Quillen Roberts have previously received this honor. Some other roster notes, Mark Sargent and Stefan Vukovic, they have both agreed to mutually part ways with the Toronto FC organization. Jason Bent, coming into this game, said this is not a team that should be taken lightly. Harrisburg City coming off a 5-1 loss a week ago tonight at home against Louisville City. A player that we saw, Matt Fondy, TFC2 was able to keep him in check. But Fondy scored 4 goals that night in a 5-1 victory. And with Harrisburg sitting just outside the Eastern Conference playoff race right now, they're 4 points back with a couple games in hand on Pittsburgh. This is a very pivotal game for them tonight.
Definitely. Coming back from a loss that's so, I guess, intense as that one, a 5-1, you want to shake that off and you want to come out with a vengeance, you want to come out strong, and I can see they really need this bounce back win.
For Jason Bent, however, he said, I quote, "It's a game that I feel we need to win. We need to show that we can put together back-to-back performances. I think it's important that we have a level of consistency. Toronto FC2 has not won back-to-back matches yet this season." He is, however, looking forward to having, you could say, some shiny new toys to play with tonight in his lineup. He acknowledges that any player coming down from the first team should be able to make a difference, and he's got 2 of those players tonight in his goalkeeper, Chris Konopka, and of course, midfielder Nick Hagelin. Goalkeeper is a position that sort of has come under scrutiny for the first club this season. They have used Joe Bendick and, of course, Chris Konopka for a stretch while Joe Bendick was injured. Alex Bono has been up with the first team as a reserve this season, has not seen any game action. He is actually backing up Chris Konopka tonight, so no Quillen Roberts. Tonight would have been his 3rd match in 8 days. They play again on Saturday. There is maybe some speculation that Quillen Roberts could actually be going up to the first club on Saturday. Sort of assess Quillen Roberts' play and maybe the chances of seeing him with the first club against Orlando this weekend.
Q has been getting a lot of time. He's getting a lot of minutes. That's why I'm not surprised that he wasn't playing today. It's been such a quick turnaround from the game from Saturday to the game Wednesday to again a game on Saturday. Putting Konopka out there again is just getting the minutes. You want to keep fresh. You want to keep intense, and being in games like this, especially with a team who wants to come out and win so badly, it's a perfect opportunity.
We will have much more for you following the national anthems.
Ladies and gentlemen, at this time we ask you to please rise and remove your hats for tonight's national anthems. join together in singing the Canadian National Anthem.
A scorching afternoon has turned into an absolutely beautiful night for football. Harrisburg City looking to gain ground in the Eastern Conference playoff race. Toronto FC2 looking to win back-to-back games for the first time in franchise history. Should be an excellent matchup tonight as we are moments away from kickoff here in Toronto. Chantel, let's talk a little bit about Jay Chapman, who returned to the Toronto FC2 lineup, his first game with TFC2 since early May. He has spent a large chunk of the season up with the first team. He had a very strong performance, missed a few opportunities. He told you at halftime that there were 3 opportunities he felt like he should have buried. A very interesting quote from him in the media availability yesterday when asked what he hoped to gain from being with TFC2 right now. He said, "I'm going to try and be a dominating presence. Going down there and getting some goals for myself would be awesome to get my confidence up, and maybe I learned some things about myself I can bring back to the first team." Assess his play on Saturday and what he brings to this team if he's here for an extended period of time moving forward.
If he is here for an extended period of time, that is great for Toronto FC2. When he was here, he was on for the first 15 minutes. You could tell the skill was better. He set the pace. The younger guys wanted to step up and kind of play to his ability. He's not afraid to take players on. He keeps the ball at his feet. He's not afraid to go back. He takes control, and he's very patient with the ball. He took players on. Yes, he didn't score, but he had the great opportunities. He creates the opportunities. Him and Hamilton, great connection. So tonight, I wouldn't expect anything different.
Yeah, we touched on that in the broadcast on Saturday. Looked perhaps the most comfortable Jordan Hamilton has looked with a teammate in several games this season. What specifically about their connection caught your eye on Saturday?
It seemed like it was the off-the-ball movement for both of them. It seemed like they knew where the other person was going to go, and that's what you want with your high striker and your defensive midfield. He was doing a great job just kind of feeding him and playing to the pace that Hamilton is. He got the balls where he needed to be.
Mo Babouli draws back into the starting 11 tonight after being a reserve for the previous 2 matches and scoring on Saturday. A little bit of tough luck for Massimo Mirabelli. His first game back in about 3 to 4 weeks. He scores a goal, the winning goal, named to the USL Team of the Week, and he still can't get himself into the starting 11. How much does that speak to the depth of the Toronto roster right now?
I think it is a positive thing. Him coming off the bench will just show that he is a player, a game changer. Right now, I'm going to say that this is probably the best starting line I've seen Toronto FC2 have. And I'm not surprised if Mirabelli does get in the game. He is a strong player, and just adding him on later in the game is no knock to him that he's not starting. He is a good player.
One final lineup / roster note for Toronto FC2, still without defender Adam Bouchard. He sustained a lower body injury against Louisville City back on August 1st. We're underway. Toronto FC2 in the all-red kits. They are on the right side of your screen, moving right to left. Harrisburg City, blue tops, white shorts, and blue socks. They are moving left to right. They are a team hungry for a victory tonight as they look to gain some ground on the Pittsburgh Riverhounds in the Eastern Conference. Toronto possessing in the Harrisburg City side of the field first, but it is going to be cleared by Jason Plumoff. Skylar Thomas able to get back for Toronto. That's Boubacar Job, number 61, his second appearance and second start for Toronto FC2. Wesley Sharpie making his second start, his fourth game back off an ankle injury collected on June 27th, and that shot is struck well from distance by Jan Ekra and just out of the reach of a diving Chris Konopka, who gets his first action of the evening, his first action of the USL this season, and looked like pretty good positioning there from Chris Konopka in his first opportunity. And Konopka will send it back upfield. Chris Manella, the captain, there to meet it. He is bumped by Jan Ekra, and it will be a free kick one for Toronto. Ekra was not in the lineup last week, as well as Cardell Benbow. Both were serving suspensions in last week's match. Those suspensions have been served. Ekra is back in the lineup, but Benbow is not on the roster sheet tonight for the Islanders. Skylar Thomas. Chris Manella in midfield. Sends it out wide to the left. Mark Anthony Kay looking to dart forward, runs onto it. His touch came right to the Harrisburg defender, Eric Cruz, and he moved it up and now out of bounds off of Manny Aparicio. And Harrisburg City will throw in after taking some direction from the referee to move farther back into their own territory. That's stolen in midfield by Jose Baril. Skylar Thomas battling two Harrisburg City players and is able to win it free for a moment. Baril got it back, but Mark Anthony Kay possesses for Toronto. Good play there from Jay Chapman to hear the communication from his teammates and dish that off to Mark Anthony Kay with the pressure coming in the back. Chris Manella in the early going. Looks like the plan of attack for Harrisburg City is to not give Toronto any opportunity to move the ball, even in their own territory. And we see another turnover here. There's a shot. It's a weak one from Craig Foster, and an easy save made by Chris Konopka.
Like you were just saying, they aren't giving them any time, and they're very high. They're pressing very high. They're not letting Toronto FC kind of spread out and play out the back, and that's going to be something because they're dying for a goal. They want to get on top on the board early.
And right away, Chris Manella limping a little bit. We did see him subbed off on Saturday. He did collect a lower body injury in that foot ankle area, and quite possibly that has been aggravated again already, just under 4 minutes into this match, and not something that head coach Jason Bent wants to see out of his captain and one of his best midfielders. Nico Anonye heads that forward. Mark Anthony Kay's touch for Chris Manella. Not a good one, but this is played forward for Jordan Hamilton. The offside flag is up, however. Jordan Hamilton not happy with that decision from the referees. Aparicio, now Chris Manella. Takes some instruction from Wesley Sharpie. Now Skylar Thomas. Mo Babuli. Job, Sharpie. One touch for Babuli, ineffective. And an aggressive challenge there from Jordan Hamilton. Wins another free kick for Harrisburg City. Fans, have you visited the new USLsoccer.com? Get the latest news and live stats, and check out the new social media hub. There's Jan Ekra. Onto the right flank for Eric Cruz. Klimov trying to get around Anonye. Good defense from the tall Toronto defender. And the Reds are able to carry it to safety with Aparicio, but Ekra is there to meet it and win it back for the Islanders. A chip in, some miscommunication. There's a shot attempt from Craig Foster, and it's blocked by Skylar Thomas, and he plays it out for a throw in here for the Islanders, and nearly a breakdown in the back there for Toronto.
They got lucky there, but giving up a corner, obviously not great, and it just shows Craig Foster how dangerous he is. He's so speedy, and they seem to right now be having a little bit of difficulty closing him down and getting the ball off their feet before he gets there.
It is a corner for the Islanders. I had said a throw in, but it's a corner taken by Jason Plumoff. Played in deep, and the header attempt from Dante Leverock is missed, and Toronto able to clear. And this will come all the way back to goalkeeper Nick Noble. He has played in all but one game for the Islanders this season. 8-8-4, 5 shutouts, 2.10 goals against average, and a .549 save percentage. Far from sparkling numbers for the Harrisburg keeper. But so far, Toronto has not been able to get in a position to test him just yet. Free kick won here by the Islanders. We're still inside 10 minutes, and the Islanders have been the more dominant of the two clubs so far. Plumoff plays it in, and it's Mark-Anthony Kay who gets ahead to it. Wesley Sharpie misjudges that, unable to play it for Toronto, but now it is cleared. Mobabuli trying to run to it, swing and a miss there from Eric Cruz. He gets around Manny Aparicio, and now lofts it into the middle. Luban looking for Foster. Ononye pressured, comes to Kay, more pressure coming from Plumoff. Kay, Chapman. Nifty footwork there from Chapman. Aparicio not in the right spot. It's Jose Barrel who gets a touch to it. But it is out of bounds off of Jose Barrel, and a throw in for Toronto. And they have just been given absolutely no time at all by this Islanders team. Now some space, Mark-Anthony Kay up on the right flank for Job. Job making a run in, now stops. There's Jay Chapman. Babuli. Now Aparicio. Aparicio will have a go at goal, and it takes a hop up right into the chest of Nick Noble. And finally an opportunity for Toronto, and they force a save out of the Harrisburg City goalkeeper. And on display there, the impressive speed of Bouba Job.
Definitely, he went with pace, was able to slow it down and kind of look back to see the opportunity. He got to switch the ball. Aparicio taking that shot. Wasn't the greatest shot, but good to get a shot off and kind of test his goalie.
There's Manella. Aparicio trying to play it through for Hamilton. Blocked. On the right flank, Sharpie with a good sliding challenge there. Able to win the ball away from Jason Plumoff. Throw in to Harrisburg City, Neil Schaffer. Will do the honors. Played in short. Job got a foot to it, but won back by the visitors. Leverock. Cruz. Taken away by Manella on that cross in. Manella, Aparicio. Mark-Anthony Kay and Aparicio. Skylar Thomas. Job. Sharpie. Manella. Thomas all the way back for Konopka. Manella with some pressure, back for Ononye. Babuli lost it. Jose Barrel begins the counterattack. Out for Plumoff. Plumoff into the area, crossed in. There's a one-touch strike, and it's over the goal. Off the foot of Brett Jankowskis, and an absolutely glorious opportunity, and just very poorly hit by Jankowskis.
Plumoff made no mistake. That was a perfect pass back. I thought that was a goal right there, but way overhit, and unfortunately for Toronto, still at zeros.
Become a fan of the USL on Facebook for exclusive league news and interactive content. Manonye. Manella. Aparicio. Chapman. One touch for Kay. Chapman. Kay wins it back. Aparicio trying to float it forward for Job. He gets a touch to it, very heavy, however. He had to stop to ensure that he wouldn't go offside. And it rocketed forward off that right foot, right to Nick Noble. Chapman able to steal that, but ricochets heavily off his foot. And Leverock is able to clear it down once again. That is out of bounds, touched by Luban. Manonye, Chapman. Manella. Kay. Thomas. Manella. Manella plays that back, and Konopka will have to come out, and he does so very assuredly and moves it forward. And this will be a throw to Toronto, taken quickly by Sharpie. Played in for Hamilton. Job with some back pressure there from Jankowskis. Able to find Manella. Hamilton. Babuli. Babuli surrounded by Islanders players and had to get it away quickly, and nobody from Toronto was near him. That's a foul called on Plumoff going up against Skylar Thomas. Manella. Manonye. Hamilton, Thomas. Manella. Aparicio. Chapman. Manella. Able to dance around Plumoff. Babuli will run onto it, and the offside flag is up there on Mo Babuli. A couple of observations, Chantel. It looks like in the early going, Toronto trying to work a lot through the middle of the field. Chris Manella seems to be the centerpiece of every sort of breakout play for Toronto.
Manella's doing a good time taking control, but with the high pressure, it seems like he should be getting off his feet like 2 touches earlier. Same with Chapman. They're both, I'd rather that than just giving the ball away, but a little quicker. They have been successful switching the ball. They do a couple give and goes on one side and then switching it over. Aparicio has tried it a couple of times. It seems to be working, so try and keep doing that, and it should be working out for them. And
the impressive footwork of Jay Chapman also on display in the early going. 3 or 4 times already in this match where he has made a very nifty play with a little bit of a backheel flick and just some dribbling that has really freed the ball up for himself and for his teammates.
And I think that comes with the confidence, which is nice to see. When you see a player confident, being able to take on players like that, that's something you'd like to see.
Foster. And Jankowskis had something going there for the Islanders. Toronto able to clear. Harrisburg City will come right back. Headed away by Aparicio. Able to get around Manella. That's Plumoff. Now we'll float it in. Maybe some miscommunication there with his colleague, and we'll go out for a goal kick for Konopka. We are just shy of, now right on, a quarter of an hour played here in Toronto. Still looking for the opening goal in a match that has had a very quick pace to it thus far, and Harrisburg City has assured that with a high pressure, not allowing any opportunities for Toronto. They've had maybe the best scoring opportunities, but neither chance really testing Chris Konopka. Neither have been on goal. One a few feet wide and one several feet over the net.
The 2 first shots they had seemed to be very similar, a little wide, but on the ground, and then the one that was rocketed over was really not dangerous at all.
Quick throw in there was taken by Toronto, but Harrisburg City counters. Luban. Ekra. Ekra will push it forward for Luban. He has Eric Cruz as well. Ononye with a good challenge there to win it for Toronto. Babuli plays it forward. Hamilton will try to run onto it, but the goalkeeper Noble is quicker and will get to the spot and play it out for Neil Schaffer. Sharpie, Manella. Babuli. Hamilton. Hamilton unable to get around Jan Ekra. He had an open Mark-Anthony Kay streaking down the left flank, and it looked like he saw him, just was not able to create the space to get a pass off. This is off Jay Chapman. And will be thrown in. Foster spins off Ononye. And good work there again from Amika Ononye to thwart a scoring opportunity. Hamilton. And the offside flag is up. I'm not sure about that one, Chantal.
It didn't look like it. It looked like he ran after the ball was hit, and it seemed like the linesman waited and delayed on that call, but I don't think that was offside.
Second offside charge to Jordan Hamilton in the opening 17.5 minutes. As Toronto tries that long ball for their striker. Andy Luban. Jan Ekra. Forward for Foster. Ononye is able to poke it away. That will get sent out for a corner to Harrisburg City. Craig Foster, again, causing a disturbance in the backfield for Toronto.
Ononye is doing a good job not allowing a lot of time on the ball for Foster, and he's doing a good job getting stuck in and getting his foot on that ball without drawing a foul. That's
the position we normally see Adam Bouchard, and he, when he came back from the Pan Am Games before getting hurt, had a stretch of shutting down some of the top scorers in the game, and it looks like Amika Ononye has learned from the techniques of Adam Bouchard, and he has been rock solid in that left center back position the last 2 games.
And it's great to see other players step up and kind of take that task and dominate at it.
Will be a throw in for Toronto on the far side of the field. Wesley Sharpie. Manella. Mark-Anthony Kay. Pressure from Luban. And a throw in for Toronto. Ononye. Manella. Manella over for Skylar Thomas. He had to run a little bit to catch up to that one. Played forward by Ekra. Foster with a volley, but handled by Sharpie. Babuli, one touch. Job trying to run onto it. Knocked out of bounds. Toronto will throw in. Just shy of the 20-minute mark of this opening half. No score here in Toronto. Toronto FC2 and the Harrisburg City Islanders. Manny Aparicio. Amika Ononye. Job. Sharpie. Manella. Aparicio. Babuli is unable to handle that one quickly. Fans, follow at USL on Twitter to become a league's insider, join club conversations, and have a chance at exclusive giveaways. Konopka will run out to receive this for Toronto. And now Ononye. Okay. Chapman. Good pressure there from Cruz. One back by Toronto. Kay played forward for Hamilton. And again, the offside flag is up against Jordan Hamilton. It's of little consequence, however, as that's easily handled by goalkeeper Nick Noble. Manonye. Chapman. Intercepted by Jan Ekra. Foster. Ekra. Barrel. Cruz. Crossed in and headed away by Skylar Thomas. Cleared by Thomas once more. Right to the near side of the field and the officials table right at midfield. Thrown in by Cruz, received by Plumhoff, and out of bounds off Mark Anthony Kay. Luban. Worked over by Mark Anthony Kay. And this is out of bounds off of Harrisburg City. And actually it will be a foul called on Harrisburg City. So Toronto takes the quick free kick. Manonye. Kay. Aparicio. Chapman, one touch with Kay, push forward. Hamilton trying to win it away from Leverock. And Hamilton commits the foul. It will be a free kick for the visitors, taken quickly by Jose Barrel. And this now played all the way back for Noble. Cruz brings that down. Play through the middle. Plumhoff. Barrel. Tribbett. Ekra. Met by Manella and stolen. Hamilton. Looking for Job. Half step out of his reach. And for Toronto, the forced to attempt quick passes because of the pressure from Harrisburg City, and they're just not connecting right now.
You want to be quicker. You don't want to get caught with the ball in your feet, but they have to be accurate passes. You can't set your teammate up for these death passes where you're getting guys just stealing the ball away from you. It's happened a couple times, majority of the time this half.
Job. Sharpie. Push forward. No one there for Toronto. Relieves the pressure, and Nick Noble will collect. A very quick, high-paced 24 minutes in the books so far. Barrel. Past midfield. Long pass, long ball, looking for Foster. He's able to work away from Manonye. And in good defensive play there from Toronto. Referee waves off any wrongdoing. Manella has that stolen, attempts to win it back. And he does eventually get it back and clear for Jay Chapman. Babuli. Onto the right side for Job. Job collects. Well, one touch there, looking for Babuli, and slipping was Aparicio. It was a right idea there for Toronto, but the execution failed. Ekra around Chapman. Ekra will carry it forward. Plumhoff will cross. And it's in. It's a sliding play there from Jan Ekra. I believe it's Craig Foster rather. And Konopka went out to meet it, and Foster slid in front of him and was able to beat the Toronto keeper and put Harrisburg City on the board 25 minutes into this match.
They gave him way too much time carrying that ball in. He was able to cross it over. Then it's a weak goal with no one really following that through, and it just kind of trickled in. You can see the frustration on Konopka's face. It just seems like a defensive breakdown, and they capitalized on it.
Goal in the 26th minute by Harrisburg City Islanders, number 22, Craig Foster. Number 22, Craig Foster.
So Toronto, for the second match in a row, will have to play from behind a 1-0 scoreline. They were able to answer within 20 minutes on Saturday afternoon. They conceded the opening goal in the first half of that contest. So lots more time for Toronto to come back from this deficit. Thomas. Manella. Konopka plays up for Ononye. Mark-Anthony Kay. Ononye. Chapman. Sharpie. Job. Chapman. Manella. Brought down by Babuli. Babuli tied up there by Cruz. Cross in intended for Hamilton. Comes up for Chapman. Babuli looking for Job. Doesn't connect, but it comes to Aparicio. Aparicio swung out wide to the right for Sharpie. Sharpie plays in. It comes down off Babuli, now to Cruz, and it's played out for a corner. And the most dangerous opportunity for Toronto coming up here in their first corner of the evening.
The cross from Sharpie was great, but Babuli wasn't there to reach it. I actually thought that was a handball in the box, but official obviously didn't agree with me.
Jay Chapman will stand over it. No, Babuli is nearby to give him that option. Chapman will play it in. And it's headed away, but it's met by Sharpie. Sharpie will cross in again, off the head of Thomas, and this is out wide, and opportunity lost for Toronto. Skylar Thomas got to the right spot, the header just missed the mark. Cruz. Barrel. Ekra. Jose Barrel. Barrel able to work around Aparicio. Chapman meets him in the second line of defense. Chapman for Job. Worked against by Neil Schaffer. Out of bounds, Toronto will throw. Sharpie. Thrown in for Hamilton. Hamilton able to work through one defender, not a second. Poked away by the right foot of Jan Ekra. Thomas, Sharpie, and Manella. Aparicio. On the ground looking for Mark-Anthony Kay. Played back to the keeper by Luban. And back for Manella. Aparicio. Chapman. Sharpie. Does well to recover there. Manella. Job. Job with some fancy footwork there, and it works. He's through. Cross for Babuli, a little bit too high. And it will roll down for Andy Luban. Nike is a proud partner of the USL. Follow at Nike Soccer on Twitter for the latest Nike Soccer information. An excellent bit of footwork there from Bouba Job. And his cross for Mo Babouli was just a little bit high. There is a injured Harrisburg City player on the pitch, and Jay Chapman, will walk this out of bounds and give an opportunity for the injured player to be attended. It is Jose Barrel who's down for the Islanders. So you get a second look at the dancing feet of Bouba Job, and just a little bit out of tune with Mo Babouli. And both squads will take this opportunity to grab some water. We're just over half an hour in here in Toronto. The Harrisburg City Islanders leading Toronto FC2 by a score of 1-0. It's a goal from Craig Foster in the 25th minute that have the visitors ahead. And they've really controlled the game thus far. Toronto seems to have turned it around a little bit in the last 5 minutes after that goal, Chantal.
Seemed like with the Islanders came out, it was high pace, high energy, and it felt like the energy was with Toronto FC, and they were coming out strong, but the way they were trying to pass the ball off with pace and speed, they weren't executing it properly. They need to slow the pace down, play the way they play. They were so successful against Richmond, kind of taking control in the middle and starting from the middle, being patient in the attacking third, and we haven't really seen that yet. We had a couple opportunities, but they need to set the pace and kind of build it from the back, go through the middle, and let Chapman and Manella set the tone. As of right now, we haven't really seen it.
How do they slow the pace down when there is so much heavy pressure and you need to get that pass away for fear of losing control of the ball deep in your own territory?
I think it comes with not always having to go forward. You can go back. You have a strong goaltender. Go back. They did it a couple of times and kind of play with your back four. Let them switch the field and kind of get Craig Foster running more. And if they do that and then send a long ball to Hamilton or send Chapman or Kay like they did, they'll be more successful.
Jordan Hamilton, unfortunately, has been called offside 3 times already in this opening half an hour. The throw-in looked to be ready for Eric Cruz. The referee says no. Now it is played in, and the Islanders will give it back to Toronto. Manella. Pressure coming from Pumaf, plays off for Skylar Thomas. Job tried a one-touch for Skylar Thomas back, and that did not work, and it's out of bounds. Turnover will allow a counter for the Islanders. That throw-in will roll out of bounds. Will be retaken by Toronto. Will be Wesley Sharpie. Forward for Babouli, able to head it past the defender. Babouli still with it. He's pulled down, and would not be surprised to see a booking here. And that was an aggressive challenge from Neil Schaffer, and it is a yellow card for Neil Schaffer, and I think rightly so. Mo Babouli not pleased with the turn of events there, but it's a free kick one for Toronto.
Caution in the 35th minute by number 20 of Harrisburg City Islanders, Neil Schaefer, number 20.
Mix is okay, Dave, but there's still 2 center backs.
All USL regular season and playoff games available live, free, and in HD on YouTube. Connect with the USL YouTube channel today as Jay Chapman gets ready to send off this free kick. As played off the defender, and I believe a handball called there as Craig Foster went up, and it will be redone by Toronto, and they've won themselves about maybe 10 to 15 yards forward there, put themselves in a more optimal scoring position.
We see both Skylar Thomas and Anonye in there to try and meet it again with in the air with their heads.
Chapman once more, awaiting the referee's whistle. Played in. It's headed down and cleared away by Leverock. And it will go out for a corner. That was Skylar Thomas going up. Chantal, you mentioned the height of Skylar Thomas being used to Toronto's advantage there, and he's won a corner for Toronto. And once again, it will be set piece specialist Jay Chapman. And once more, a number of Toronto bodies inside that penalty area. Chapman hits that very strong. And Sharpie played in and headed away. Sharpie will try to head it back on for Toronto. Met by Thomas. Babuli. There's Mark Anthony Kay. Kay with a shot and a save by Nick Noble.
Great ball by Babuli. Kay with patience, nicely placed, but a great positioning and an easy save.
Best opportunity of the night for Toronto comes off the left foot of Mark Anthony Kay. He's unable to capitalize, but it has really been Toronto with the momentum in the last 10 minutes since conceding. Hamilton with a strike, and it's well over.
You can see the frustration from Hamilton there. He had time, his players were yelling he had time, and he shot it not on target.
Babuli draws the foul there from Jan Ekra. And the chippiness of this game seems to have increased a little bit as well since that goal from Harrisburg City. It was a little chippy to start, and that has been intensified in the last 10 minutes.
And the official really is not letting anything go at all. He's calling even just a shoulder-to-shoulder battle, so he's doing a good job kind of keeping it clean, but you can tell these two teams do not like each other.
Chapman plays it in. It's off ahead of the Harrisburg defender. Skylar Thomas will run onto it. Thomas looking to cross in. There's Anonye. And Anonye up in a position he is not accustomed to. And an easy clear for Harrisburg City. Just kept in on the sideline by Brett Jankowskis. And now draws a foul. And Harrisburg City has not spent much time in this side of the field since opening the scoring 14 minutes ago. Quickly taken, there's a cross. Konopka with a bobble, and will jump on it. Mark Anthony Kay. Move forward for Chapman. Draws a double team, and Ekra is able to dispossess. Aparicio flies in, trying to knock it away. Manella. Sharpie. Job. Again, a double team comes from Harrisburg City. Job able to poke it away for Manella. Aparicio, too heavy on that for Sharpie.
In that instance, Chapman and Kay are both wide open. That's when you switch the ball. There's been too much play going up that right one side. You might as well switch it. You have two players with pace. That's the decision making that needs to be better.
And Manny Aparicio seems to be one player who is, I would say, really struggling with the pace of this game so far. Has not been well with decision making under pressure to this point in the match.
This is his first start in a while. It may just be the intensity or getting into the game the way the caliber of these players, especially having Manella and Chapman out there kind of elevating the skill.
Luban working against Mark Anthony Kay. He plays it forward for Foster. Met by Anonye. Foster turnaround strike is easily handled by Konopka. Not a lot of zip on that one from Foster. Kay. Chapman. Babuli. Chapman. Played out by Barrel. Toronto will throw. They're just about 5 minutes away from halftime here. Kate. Manella. Thomas. Babuli. Push forward for Hamilton, and he gets the contact and the free kick. And as you alluded to, Chantel, the referee not letting any contact whatsoever go unnoticed. Does this style of officiating benefit Toronto FC2?
Right now, with them being down and having high pressure, it's working out for them. They've had 3 set pieces. They haven't capitalized on them. But we have another one. We actually have Mo Babuli taking it. He's in a dangerous spot. We've seen him score from here before. So they keep playing to this intensity and drawing these fouls and are able to capitalize. This is a game style that they want to keep doing.
3-man wall for Harrisburg City. Babuli hits it right into it. Aparicio with a strike. And it's off a Harrisburg City player. May have been Ken Trebet. And it's out for a Toronto corner. And they continue to ramp up the intensity in the last 15 minutes or so. As we approach halftime, they would love an equalizer before the break.
Chapman's last corner, bit heavy. I'm not sure if they'll have someone kind of in the back for the garbage, but doesn't look like it, so maybe he'll take a bit off for this one.
That's headed away by Trebet, played back in by Sharpie, but the defense of Harrisburg City is strong to clear it away. And again, a little bit heavily hit by Jay Chapman on that corner.
Seemed to be a bit more of a floater, but wasn't dangerous enough, and it was easily cleared by the Islanders.
Comes for Anonye. Thomas. Manella. Mark-Anthony Cade trying to collect this loose ball. It is cleared out of bounds by Luban. Kay will throw in quickly. Chapman. Chapman runs into Jan Ekra. Referee ruling incidental contact, play on. And a strong tug there from Manny Aparicio on Jose Barrel. As mentioned, the intensity of this match continues to pick up. We're about 90 seconds away from the added time of the opening half. Harrisburg City leading Toronto FC2 1-0. On a goal from Craig Foster in the 25th minute. Jay Chapman leads the counterattack for Toronto. Mo Babuli slows things down. Manella has to play it quickly. Mark-Anthony Kay will have to run for this one as well. Anonye across for Skylar Thomas. Sharpie. Played forward, long ball looking for Hamilton. Is played back by Tribbett. And under pressure, Tribbett forces a corner. And another opportunity for Toronto FC2. They have been on top of the play since that goal approaching 20 minutes ago. This will be their third corner. Taken by Chapman again, played in. Babuli, Manella unable to get the shot away and cleared.
The fourth official has indicated a minimum of 2 minutes has been added.
And
2 minutes has been added.
Aggressive foul there. And it's going to be a booking for Booba Job. A yellow card for the Toronto midfielder.
Caution in the 45th minute by number 61
2 minutes of added time here in the opening half.
Number 61, Booba Job.
Played up by Leverock, headed down, plumb off. Skylar Thomas pokes away. One back by Harrisburg City. There's Plumoff, and that rolls wide of the goal. Goal kick for Konopka. Konopka will play short for Mark Anthony Kay. Aparicio. Babuli into the middle, intended for Jordan Hamilton. Luban, one away by Kay, but he loses the control there, and it will be a last-minute corner for Harrisburg City.
Hey, take your time, Jay.
Plumoff, right foot, sends it in, and it's volleyed over the goal by Foster, and that will wrap up the opening half here in Toronto.
Your score at the halftime.
At halftime, Harrisburg City 1, Toronto FC 2. No score. The goal coming in the 25th minute from Craig Foster. It had been all Harrisburg City up to that point, but that seemed to trigger a turnaround for Toronto FC 2 as they were able to apply a lot of pressure to Harrisburg City in that final 20 minutes of the opening half. Wouldn't say they came close to a goal, but they were certainly creating their opportunities. A few set pieces, 2 free kicks from good spots, 3 or 4 corner kicks taken by Jay Chapman as well. But the defense of Harrisburg City has been strong thus far, not yet resembling the team that averages the highest goals against in the USL, and something that Toronto will be looking to exploit in the second half, and we'll see if any changes will be made. We are certainly expecting to see Nick Haglund at some point in this contest. Chantel Blais is sidelined with Wesley Sharpie. Chantel?
Wes, a high-intensity first 45. Overall impressions of that first half?
Yeah, it was high tempo. I think on our side, we have to move the ball a bit quicker, just dictate the tempo. We're playing at home, so we have to take it to them, and I think that's what JV is going to be saying at halftime.
And what do you think the difference will be to get that first goal?
It's just to stay positive, everyone staying on the same path, working hard, going forward, and I think it'll come.
Good luck in the second half, Wes.
Thank you very much.
Thanks, guys. Back to you, Matt.
Thank you, Chantel. Once again, at halftime, it is the Harrisburg City Islanders 1, Toronto FC 2, no score. We will be back shortly with a sit-down that Chantel conducted earlier this week with former Toronto FC midfielder Terry Dunfield, who will be joining our broadcast crew for the remainder of the season. We'll hear from Terry in about 6 or 7 minutes, so stay tuned. You're watching Toronto FC 2 Soccer on TFC Live.
Ladies and gentlemen, at this moment, we'd ask you to focus your attention to the center of the field where we'll be playing soccer tennis. TFC Academy will be taking on IFC Academy. Soccer tennis, let's cheer them on. TFC Academy versus IFC. Point TFC. Point IFC. TFCs. Point TFCs. Point TFCs. Point TFCs. Point IFCs. Point TFCs. Here on the last point here, let's hear it for IFC and TFC. And congratulations to both TFC and IFC. Let's give them a hand, ladies and gentlemen.
Stay in bed, the feeling of your skin locked in my head. Will this place go down in flames?
Here with Terry Dunfield. Terry, let's start from the beginning. Why soccer and not a traditional sport like hockey?
When I was 4 or 5 and I first kicked my soccer ball, I was hooked right away. I couldn't get enough of the sport. I tried playing baseball and hockey, but I was always back on the soccer pitch, and yeah, I've been like that for 30 years now almost.
So passionate about soccer, so when did you know that this was going to be potentially and now turned into your career?
When I was sort of 7 or 8, watching soccer Premier League on Saturday morning with my old man, I sort of was like, yeah, this is what I want to do. You know, one day I want to play in the Premier League, and that sort of goal never changed.
And did anyone in your family have a soccer background?
we all love the sport. My old man did, my brother played as well, but nothing too serious.
And you've played all over. You played in Toronto, England, Vancouver, most recently Scotland. Where's your favorite place to play and why?
I've been lucky. I've played in lots of great cities. I've probably enjoyed each city for different sort of reasons, but the one city that does stand out, I'm not just saying it because I have to, is I love Toronto. I love my time here. I had 3 great seasons, and yeah, probably here.
And what's your fondest memory playing in North America?
Probably, I've got a couple. I mean, I was lucky to play in Vancouver's inaugural season, and I got to play in their first game against Toronto, and probably did a little bit too good, so I ended up getting traded here, but that was fantastic. I scored Vancouver's second ever goal, and I never thought Vancouver would have a professional team like that, where you'd have the opportunity to play in front of 30,000 people, and so to play for my hometown city in that game, that was great. And probably 18 months later, everything sort of changed, and I was playing for Toronto against Vancouver, and luckily enough, in the last minute, I scored the winning goal, so that was fun too.
So with both experiences with Toronto and Vancouver, if they're squaring off, who are you cheering for now?
I follow Toronto probably a little bit closer. I was here a little bit longer, and I still speak to some of the players. So.
And with your time with Toronto, what are some of the fondest memories there?
We struggled a little bit in the league, if I'm honest, but we had a great run in the Champions League. We made it all the way to the semi-final. We were 1 game away from the Champions League final. So that was pretty incredible. We got to play in front of 40 or 50,000 people in Mexico, beating LA in the quarterfinals at the Rogers Center. That was, you know, something I'll never forget.
And you got into soccer very young. You moved to England when you were 15 to play for Man City's academy team. How important do you think is it for Canadians now to have a team like Toronto FC2 to get the development early? It's
great. I mean, it's something. When I first started out, there was no sort of academies. There was no TFC2s. The only way of really having a career was to go to Europe. So it gives kids a goal, you know, something to shoot for here at home. And you know, I think now these academies have really good coaches, and you have the cherry at the end of it that you could play one day at BMO in front of huge crowds and play with some of the best players in the world.
And what's your impression of professional soccer now compared to back when you were playing?
My what, sorry?
Your impression of how MLS is now, how soccer's growing in Canada.
I think the league's growing and growing. I remember Don Garber said when I first came to the league, come 2018, we want this to be one of the top leagues in the world. And you were kind of like, yeah, maybe, but I think each year he's getting closer to closer, and I think come 2018, it is going to be one of the top leagues in the world.
And you're recently exploring broadcasting. What interests you about that?
I always loved speaking to the media when I was playing. I always felt comfortable, and I hope one day, you know, if this is what I do get into, I can share some of my experiences and some knowledge I've picked up of the game over the years, and at the end of the day, I get to keep watching soccer every day.
And does the idea of coaching at all interest you?
Yeah, I've done all my coaching badges. That's possibly an avenue I'd like to explore, but at the minute I'm here in Toronto trying this, and hopefully I can learn some stuff from you.
And lastly, what's something about yourself that people don't necessarily know that you'd want people to know?
Wow.
Doesn't have to be soccer related, could be just a fun fact.
I love to fly fish. I'm not very good, I always catch myself, but I like to fly fish.
Awesome. Well, thank you so much for your time.
Nice.
Toronto FC fans will remember Terry Dunfield. He scored 6 goals in 56 games for the Reds over 3 seasons. Terry is the newest member of our broadcast team starting tonight. Terry, we are absolutely thrilled to have you on board. Welcome to the team.
Thanks, Matt. It's great to be here, and yeah, I look forward to it.
Now, your thoughts on that opening half for Toronto FC2, down a goal. It seemed almost like they flipped a switch after conceding that opening goal in the 25th minute, and they really started to push the pace of the game after that.
Yeah, I think TFC for the first 30 minutes looked a little bit of a frustrated side. I think credit has to go to the Islanders. I think they did their homework, watched some video of maybe TFC2 playing, and came out and played a high-pressure game, and TFC struggled to deal with that. Their sort of possession-based soccer was stifled a little bit, and after 30 minutes, I think TFC came to grips with it and started to go in behind and get behind the fullback, and Job started to cause some problems on the wing, and he was definitely one of the bright spots in the first half.
Well, I was going to ask you what you think Jason Bent might say to address the team at halftime, but Chantel is standing by with the head coach of Toronto FC too. Chantel.
Thanks, Matt. Jason, high intensity first half, overall impressions of the first 45.
Overall, you know, the first 10 minutes was a bit hectic, but once the game settled down, we were able to create quite a few chances. I remember Mo putting in Mark Anthony for a 1v1 type of situation. Skylar had a header off a cross. I think Emmy had one off a cross as well. So ultimately, we've been doing pretty good. We gave up a goal against the run of play, which was disappointing, but if we can increase our speed of play in the second half, sort of similar to what we did on the weekend against Richmond, then I think we'll be able to open them up.
And can we expect any changes for this following 45?
Yeah, so Alec is coming in. Alex Bono's coming in goalkeeper, and in center back position, Nick Haglin's coming in for Emmy. So just a few tactical changes.
Well, good luck in the second half. Thanks, guys. Back to you, Matt.
Thank you, Chantal. So just to recap what Jason Benton said there, Nick Haglin, as we mentioned off the top of the broadcast, on loan from the first team, getting some minutes in here. He is spelling Amika Ononye, who I thought had a pretty strong opening 45 minutes, Harry.
Yeah, I think it's a little bit tough on Onome. I think Jason will be happy with his two center halves, but you know, it's important Nick comes in and gets some minutes, and I think before the game that was sort of always a game plan. So
what can we expect to see out of Nick Haglin? Obviously a veteran presence on a back line here. What style of play will he bring to this game for Toronto?
I've seen Nick play a lot over the last couple of years. He's vocal even in the first team for a young player. He's got a presence back there which will definitely help on set pieces. He'll have to be careful. The center forward for the Islanders has been good so far. He scored a good goal, but hopefully he can sort of settle the team down and maybe not force one or two passes in midfield where it's a little bit tight.
The other change mentioned by head coach Jason Bent, Alex Bono is into the match, spelling Chris Konopka. I think the plan for him as well was to get 45 minutes in. As we mentioned, he hasn't played since July 12th. And we were talking during halftime that the goal that Chris Konopka conceded is probably one that he'd like to have back if given the opportunity.
Yeah, it was a tough one. He looked a little bit tentative when the cross came in. But, it's always important to get 45 minutes under your belt. It's definitely better than training every day, and it'll put him in good stead whether it's for the first team or another game with TFC2.
Alex Bono, this will be his second relief appearance this season. He came on in the match against Pittsburgh a couple of weeks ago, spelling Quillen Roberts after the Riverhounds, went up 2-0 in that game. So we are just about set to go for the second half here, and it will be Harrisburg City controlling off the top. Once we get the signal from the official. And there we go. We are underway in the second half. Harrisburg City in blue and white moving right to left. Toronto FC2 in red moving left to right, as they will, for the second consecutive game, look to eliminate a one-goal deficit. They were able to do so on Saturday against the Richmond Kickers and come out with a 2-1 victory. And tonight they are hoping for the same sort of medicine. No substitutions made for Harrisburg City at halftime. They will stick with for the moment, the winning formula. Mark Anthony Kay able to dash around pressing player, as played up by Babuli, and once again it is an offside flag for Jordan Hamilton, and he pounds that into the fence behind the goalkeeper, and frustration settling in for Jordan Hamilton. Sherbet works forward past midfield. Now Schaffer. Schaffer was one of two players cautioned in the opening half. The only player for Harrisburg City, it was Booba Job, who was cautioned for Toronto. Chris Manella Skylar Thomas. There's Jordan Hamilton working against the Islanders defenders, and his pass intended for Jay Chapman is off the shin of the Islanders player, and they will counterattack quickly. Push forward, intended for a plumb off, and it's cleared out there by Nick Hagelin getting his first touch. That throw in stolen by Skylar Thomas, and Jordan Hamilton had it for a moment, was dispossessed, and this is an offside flag, I believe, here on Harrisburg City. Will be thrown in by Toronto, so it's just an out-of-bounds call. Mark Anthony Kay. Jay Chapman there as well. Kay able to dance around one defender, but there are two more there to meet him. Mo Babuli with some pressure there to steal it back for Toronto. Hagelin goes up with the head, able to play it forward. Now Chapman, Babuli. Schaffer comes for Jankowskis and poked out by Wesley Sharpie. Schaffer. Barrel. Trebet. That is Cruz on the far side of the field. Swung out for Jankowskis. There's a strike, and it's a goal. Brett Jankowskis with an absolutely beautiful shot into the top corner, and not much chance for Alex Bono on that goal.
Yeah, great strike into the top corner there. I think the fullback could do a little bit better and get out to him to stop the shot, but it's a fantastic strike into the top corner. His first touch set him right up for it, and he curled it into the top corner.
So the uphill climb for Toronto will have to reach an even higher level of difficulty.
It's a little bit disappointing that, because TFC actually started for the first 2 or 3 minutes quite well. They just couldn't pick out that final pass in behind the back four, so Jason will be definitely disappointed at the minute.
Less than 5 minutes into the second half, Toronto concedes the second goal and will have to come back from 2-0, something they have not yet done this season. Manella, the right flank, looking for Sharpie. That is the recent goal scorer, Jankowskis, who will meet it and clear. Job. Sharpie. Aparicio sends it right onto the foot of Ken Tribbett. And Aparicio whistled there as he comes together with the Harrisburg player, Jankowskis. Don't forget to visit the new USLsoccer.com. Get the latest news and live stats, and check out the new social media hub. Trebet sends that forward. Skylar Thomas heads it back. Babuli working against Ekra. Schaffer. Trebet. Ekra will send it back, and the goalkeeper, Noble, will handle for Barrel. Leverock in the middle, Ekra. Sends it up long left for Jankowskis. Crossed in, and this will sail over top the goal, and will go out for a goal kick to Alex Bono.
One player I'd like to sort of see get more involved is Mo Babouli. We didn't see a lot of him in the first half on the ball. He played a great pass in for Kay for his opportunity, but if TFC could find him in that pocket there a little bit more, I think he could help make them tick.
Manella up for Sharpie. And given away by Job. Barrel up for Schaffer. Schaffer will look to cross. He does. And it will roll out all the way into the corner and will be a goal kick again for Alex Bono, which is taken quickly and is received by Jay Chapman. Chapman will push the pace past midfield. Chapman looks like he may have stumbled a little bit there on this turf, and now we'll have to foul and give the ball back to Harrisburg City. Terry, you mentioned wanting to see a little bit more out of Mo Babouli. Is it a little bit difficult for him as teams start to zero in, knowing that he is one of the premier threats on this club?
I think so. I definitely think teams know he's a player they need to stop if they're going to stop TFC. But there's times where Jordan's sort of stretched him in behind and he's created a pocket there for him, and TFC have maybe gone square or backwards when they could have found his feet.
There's Jose Barrel. Now Ekra. Plumhoff. Plumhoff still with it. He works into the middle, looking for a shot. He takes it, and it's well over the goal.
I've got to say, the Islanders definitely don't look like a team that just got beat 5-1 the other day.
Yeah, they have certainly been pushing forward as much as possible here, and have to wonder what was going on in that game. But we mentioned it earlier in the broadcast, just an inconsistent team so far this season, especially in the last little stretch. 9 games, they've alternated wins and losses. So the math would tell you that with this being the 10th game, they'd be due for a victory, and so far they've been good money for that.
No, they've not disappointed.
Here is Andy Luban playing in, and will go wide, and once again, goal kick to be taken by Alex Bono. Played quickly for Manella. Sharpie. Job. Back for Sharpie again. Manella. Stretching for Babouli, and he will be whistled there with a shove to Ken Trebet. And we mentioned in the first half, Chantal, that the referee not really letting a lot go, and Toronto now down by 2, trying to get any advantage that they can, but it doesn't look like they're going to be able to establish themselves physically in that attempt.
No, and especially in that instance, Mo was in the off angle. He wasn't going to get that ball, and that's why he gave him the foul. But for Toronto now, they have to try and stay composed and not give stupid fouls and give the other team an opportunity to waste the clock, because that's what they're going to do. Up a 2-0 lead, yeah, it's a comfortable lead, but still, we've seen Toronto, especially in the late minutes of games, capitalize.
And here is Job looking to capitalize. Sent in for Aparicio. He wraps his arm around the Harrisburg defender, and not a smart play there from Manny Aparicio, who I mentioned in the first half really looks like he is struggling tonight, and have to wonder if he will be subbed off shortly.
I wouldn't be surprised if we do see Mirabelli make an appearance in this game. He did score last game, so having his offensive presence out there is something that they may need.
Become a fan of the USL on Facebook for exclusive league news and interactive content. Another player available on the bench is Raheem Edwards. He has scored in recent games as well and has looked pretty sharp since returning from the Pan Am Games appearance for Team Canada at that event. He scored in that game against Pittsburgh a couple of weeks ago. It's played in, and Bono will rush out to meet it. And we'll send it off quickly for Wesley Sharpie, who will collect on the right flank here, just in front of our vantage point. That's played off Jose Barrel and has gone out for a throw. Bouba Job will defer to Wesley Sharpie. Thomas, Manella, Kay, Hagelin, Thomas. Aparicio played through, comes to Sharpie, offside once again for Toronto. That's, I've lost track now, number 5 or 6 for Toronto. Terry, is this the right strategy to keep going to the well that many times, trying this long through ball?
Yeah, I think TFC are starting to they are getting joy in behind the fullbacks, and a little bit early there he left. There wasn't a lot in that one, like some of Jordan's, but yeah, another good pass in behind the fullback.
Substitution number 3 for Toronto. Reminder, they get 5 in USL play. Actually, they're going to make a double substitution here. Massimo Mirabelli is in for Boubacar Job, and Raheem Edwards will be checking in as well at some point. Not quite yet. He has handed off the slip to the 4th official, but remains with his blue penny on top of that red jersey. So we'll have to wait to see who Raheem Edwards will be replacing. I have to think it may be Manny Aparicio. Not to be too tough on Manny tonight, but just looked a little bit outclassed in this match. There's a strike from Jankowskis looking for his 2nd of the night. And once again, he has sailed that over top the goal.
Substitution for TFC2.
It's going to be Chris Manella coming out for Raheem Edwards.
Exiting the match.
And I guess this is not much of a surprise either. Manella took a knock on Saturday. It looked like he was limping a little bit in the first half. And I think Jason Bent will probably want to have his captain available to him again on Saturday. So perhaps just a case of limiting his minutes and keeping him as fresh as possible for the game this Saturday evening.
Definitely, and with a little bit of a knock, I'm sure he'll be okay, but putting Edwards out there, Edwards adds pace on the wings, and I feel like we're going to have to see that. He's going to want some sort of offense going in the next 20 to 25 minutes to kind of bring the intensity back up, so I think adding Edwards out there is a smart idea.
Booming kick from Alex Bono. He, in my estimation, by far the most length out of the goal kick of any of the Toronto keepers we've seen this season. Chapman will play it back to his keeper under some pressure. We'll send it away right to Jose Barrel. Now Jan Ekra. Ekra with a strike, and it's wide to the left. Took a deflection off a Toronto player on the way, rules the referee, so it will be a corner kick to be taken by the Islanders. And Plumoff will do the honors. Sent in and headed away by Nick Hagland. Chapman and Barrel come together. Barrel's able to win it for the moment. Jordan Hamilton, pass intended for Raheem Edwards, but is taken by Ekra. Mark-Anthony Kaye steps up to intercept, forces an out-of-bounds kick from Harrisburg City, and he will quickly throw it back in. Mark-Anthony Kaye, past midfield, crossing for Mirabelli. Mirabelli, the hero on Saturday, scoring in the injury time of the second half. Named to the USL Team of the Week as a result. Babuli, crossed in, looking for Edwards, and it's headed away. Aparicio misjudges that, but is able to get a touch to it anyway. And Hagland in the middle. Hagland will push forward. Hagland looking for the through ball for Jordan Hamilton, but the defense was there from Ken Tribbett. Hamilton with a steal now. Hamilton will try to work his way through and not able to get past a third Harrisburg defender. It's Dante Leverock. And the play in the back for Harrisburg City has been tight all night and not giving Jordan Hamilton much room to operate. Long pass here looking for Mirabelli, and once again the offside flag is up from the linesman. Headed forward by Jankowskis. Played back by Schaefer. Set back up by Noble. Met by Sharpie. Plumoff. Luban wide to the right, crossed in off the foot of Kay, and will go out for a corner.
That was better defending from Kay there. On the first goal, that's what he needed to do, was stop the cross. Jason works on that hard in training. I saw him doing that yesterday. His fullback's getting out and stopping crosses, so that's something he's been looking for.
Looks like it will be Plumoff again to take the corner. Sent in, headed down, and cleared by Aparicio. Met by Barrel. His volley is nowhere near the area of the goal. Out for a goal kick, and now an injured Harrisburg City player down in the penalty area of Toronto. And the training staff for Harrisburg City will come to attend. So with just under a half hour to play here in this match, Toronto needing a pair of goals to draw level. What might we expect to see from Toronto that they haven't done so far to be able to break through and get a goal here in the second half?
I think we need a little bit more in the final third. I think we've done okay going forward up to a point after the first 30 minutes. But once we get in the final third, we've not had that cutting edge pass or that little bit of creativity to break down, you know, a pretty solid back four for Harrisburg.
And that's something that head coach Jason Bent has been telling us all season long, is the play in the final third, the attacking third for Toronto just hasn't been up to par.
It's the decision making. It's deciding to take the player on rather than go yourself or pass it off. And Terry, when you touched on getting Babuli more involved in this game, it seems like our midfielders, the midfielders like Chapman and Aparicio, are carrying the ball and they're not really getting the opportunity to feed him at the proper time. And that's the same with Hamilton. That's why we've been seeing so many offsides in this game.
Yeah, it's important when a team plays with a high pressure against you that you move the ball quickly, and dwelling on the ball or playing square isn't how to beat a high-pressure team.
There's Chapman now. Swung out wide left for Kay. Played in. Babuli will run to it, but it's knocked away by Trebitt. Met by Sharpie. Sharpie crosses in, looking for Edwards. He's able to push off Luban and run it down. Will carry it towards the corner and hope to win a corner. And he has done just that. And he takes it quickly for Kay. Now Babuli. Babuli, strike low and blocked. Mirabelli runs to it, and an aggressive challenge there. Takes down the Harrisburg defender, and Massimo Mirabelli will go into the book for that one. A yellow card for the Toronto striker.
Fantastic enthusiasm from Mirabelli, and sometimes when you come on just as subs, you want to show the coach that you should be out there, but it's a little bit too enthusiastic.
In the 65th minute by number 42 of TFC, Massimo Mirabelli. Number 42, Massimo Mirabelli.
Nothing more than a caution.
Fantastic hip check from Massimo Mirabelli. And the definitely a booking, I would agree, but I think the result of the play, the way that Trebet went down, probably made it look a little bit worse than it actually was. Not to say that he was embellishing or anything like that. Just it was a harder fall than it was a foul.
A little bit. Sometimes we get characterized for that in soccer, but as Chantel said earlier, we don't want the game to go flat. We don't want to be giving away silly fouls.
Follow at USL on Twitter to become a league insider, join club conversations, and have a chance at exclusive giveaways. And a giveaway there from Toronto will result in a throw-in for the Islanders as we are into the 67th minute here at the Ontario Soccer Centre in Vaughan. Matt Nicolantonio joined by Chantal Blais and Terry Dunfield in the broadcast booth tonight. There's an opportunity for Jankowskis, looking for his second once again. Jose Barrel is met there by Jay Chapman, and he will clear. Aparicio caught flat-footed, unable to push it forward, and now an injured player down for Harrisburg City again, and they will get this ball and clear it out of bounds. And once again, a Harrisburg City player will require some medical attention in the Toronto half of the field.
At first look, that looked like a bit of a two-footed tackle, but I think he'll be okay.
Yeah, he embellished it a bit. It did look like he did get cleated, but it's also the time just ticking on by.
I know we haven't seen much of him involved in the play, but the impressions of the play so far in 22 minutes of Nick Hagland.
I think not seeing him involved is a good thing. I think that's a sign of a good defender. Anything that's come his way he's dealt with. He's had a couple of good headers and defended a set piece well.
And on second look, it did look like a two-footed tackle there.
But he did get the ball as well, so that's why the call obviously didn't go their way, but bit of a karate kick in the motions there.
I actually missed the replay. I was battling mosquitoes, but I think he'll be okay. Jay Chapman might have got away with one there. And he's another player who did very well the other night, and we've not seen a lot from him today. Actually, last game was the first time I've seen him for 90 minutes, and I was very impressed. Not many players can get the ball on the half turn and get at defenders and go both ways past them. And maybe 3 or 4 days maybe wasn't quite enough break for him. He's not played a whole bunch of games this season, so that's another thing we need to take into consideration. Harrisburg's had a week off. TFC's only had 3 or 4 nights.
And TFC using very close to the same lineup that played this past Saturday against the Richmond Kickers, and as a result, I imagine we're probably going to see a drastically different starting 11 this coming Saturday, as a lot of these players have started and will likely play a full 90 again tonight. You look at a player like Wesley Sharpie or Skylar Thomas would have played a full 90, so I imagine we will not see them starting on Saturday.
There's no hiding from it. They've got 5 games in quick succession coming up, so it's important to rotate the squad. It gives other players an opportunity to step in, and the other day when the subs came on, they made an impression and they got their chance today.
And Ben makes it known that he isn't afraid to play the younger players. He likes giving the young 17, 18-year-olds opportunities. So with the games being such fast turnarounds, I'm not surprised that these guys are going to get in. And it's beneficial to everyone when these guys get minutes and build their confidence.
And Saturday we may see a player like Daniel Fabrizi. He's been out with injury, but has been healthy for the last 2 games, just hasn't made the list. And Luca Uccello as well has not played in a few games. A couple of players that we might be seeing in the lineup at some point on Saturday evening. This is played out here. A good challenge there from Jankowskis, able to knock it away from Nick Hagland, but it's a throw for Toronto as we approach the 70th minute here in Toronto. Chapman with some space in the middle of the field will swing it out towards the left side, and Raheem Edwards, but a good play there from Eric Cruz, able to turn and spin it upfield for the Islanders. Long ball intended for Foster. Skylar Thomas there to provide the defense. Wesley Sharpie provides support and will clear as far as midfield, where it's met by Neil Schaefer. Schaefer will send it back to his keeper. Nick Noble has not been busy here in the second half. Headed by Sharpie. And this knocked out of bounds by Harrisburg, and once again we see a Harrisburg player, this time Brett Jankowskis, rolling around on the turf. Not sure what could have caused this. It looked like he just went to knock the ball away off the foot of Wesley Sharpie. And this looks a tad bit theatrical.
I think he's going to be rolling off, or he may be cramping, but didn't see any
He's
contact.
literally rolling off the field. Mirabelli receives the throw. Did the splits a little bit heavily
Just a bit
there.
of splits, but sure we'll see him back out there.
Give me a second, guys. I'll get on the board.
Chapman for Nick Hagland. Sharpie. Now Chapman. Hagland up for Babuli. Mobabuli swings it out wide right. Massimo Mirabelli will take it down. Mirabelli will work into the area. Mirabelli with a strike. It's stopped by Noble, and he will dive forward onto the rebound as he had to get the hands up there to make the save. And it was a good strike from Mirabelli. Just nobody for Toronto positioned close enough to jump on that loose rebound.
Yeah, it was a fantastic ball from Mo across to Mirabelli. He cuts inside and looked like he could go either way, opened up on his left foot and almost tested the keeper.
This is whistled down, and it's going to be...
This could be a red card.
He's motioning the goalkeeper forward. And it's going to be a yellow card on the goalkeeper, Nick Noble. And the Toronto players are out to argue with the official. Terry, what did you see on that play?
Issued in the 73rd minute by #1 of Harrisburg City Islanders.
I've seen the keeper come out of his box. He got caught in no man's land a little bit. Touches it with his hand outside the box. The rule says if he stops a goal-scoring opportunity with his hand there, it should be a red card. Maybe the referee saw the center half covering round, and that's why he gave a yellow.
Substitution in the
maybe Harrisburg got away with
by
one there.
Harrisburg City Islanders.
TFC fans wanted to see the ref go to his back pocket, not into his top
Exiting the
pocket.
match, number 12, Brett Januskis.
So the injury for Jankowskis deemed a little bit too serious to return. So Enric Vales will enter for Harrisburg City. That's their first substitution of the evening. But more importantly, it's a good spot for a free kick for Toronto. Jordan Hamilton and Mobabuli are standing over the ball discussing.
Yesterday in training, I saw Mo stick 2 in the top corner from here, so.
He goes for it again, and it's off the outside of the post and out wide.
So close, and we've seen Mo capitalize from that angle. Great shot, but just wide.
Fantastic technique from Mo there. It's not easy to get the ball over the wall like that, and also with some pace. Little bit too far to the side, obviously. A little bit unlucky. Great technique, though.
So an unlucky break for Toronto as they looked to break through. A goal there would have given them a 1-goal deficit with 15 minutes to play, and we know that they have a tendency for goals late in games, and it could have been enough to make this one interesting down the stretch.
We needed to loan Jovinko to the team for that free kick.
Nike is a proud partner of the USL. Follow at Nike Soccer on Twitter for all the latest Nike Soccer information. Jordan Hamilton. Aparicio will cross to the back line of Skylar Thomas. Mirabelli playing forward. Aparicio is offside. And Massimo Mirabelli getting his money's worth, arguing with this linesman. He's arguing a deflection off a Harrisburg City player.
It did look like a deflection, so that really wouldn't have been an offside, but seems like these sideline officials are not joking around when they call these offsides, and it's been a lot this game.
Hagelin will head back for Bono. And now Thomas. Pushing the back from Vales on Jordan Hamilton. And Toronto will win the free kick. Babuli, unable to get that one away cleanly, is able to head it forward though. And now we'll try to run up onto it. And a couple of quick fouls in succession there. And a couple of Harrisburg City players down on the turf.
Substitution in the 77th minute by Harrisburg City Islanders. Exiting the match, number 8, Jose Baril. Entering the match, number 9,
Jose Baril will be subbing off. Garrett Pettis coming in for the Islanders. Good play by Edwards there to knock that one down. And now Toronto will counter, but Edwards has given it away to Ekra. Chapman, Edwards, that's off Ekra. Toronto will throw. Edwards. Babuli over there as well. Comes into the middle for Chapman. Edwards. Chapman. Babuli. Chapman. Haglund. Sharpie receives that well. Aparicio. Mirabelli. There's Babuli. Babuli trying to work through, and too many blue shirts in the area of that for Mo Babuli to get through.
That was good soccer from TFC. They were patient, waited for the right pass. They got Mo in the right spot where they want him in the pocket there. He just couldn't pick out that final pass.
There's Babuli. Babuli able to work around, but a little bit too heavy on that touch. Gets away from him. Skylar Thomas will knock that down. Haglund. Now Kay. Edwards. Edwards crossing in. Mirabelli running on. He heads it down. Nobody there for Toronto into the area where Mirabelli sent it. Chapman. Chapman gets a little tug on the shirt there. And it's going to be a booking here. A yellow card to the newly entered Garrett Pettis. And an easy call for the official.
Caution in the 79th minute by Harrisburg City Islanders, number 9, Garrett Pettis, number 9.
It's been a good last 5-10 minutes for TFC. Hopefully we can capitalize on this good play. Hopefully the big fella, Skylar, can get his noggin on this.
We've seen that from just about this exact spot. Babuli curls it in. Thomas heads it, and it's just over the bar. Very nearly a carbon copy of the goal that Skylar Thomas scored to give Toronto a victory over Charleston a few weeks ago. This one a little bit deeper in the box, but Thomas got to the right spot, got open, got up, and just was not able to put the precision on the header to get it into the back of the net.
Fantastic cross, did everything right except for head it down into the net.
All USL regular season and playoff games are available live, free, and in HD on YouTube. Connect with the USL YouTube channel today. So Toronto in the last 10 minutes or so have been getting their opportunities, unable to capitalize, and the way it's going looks like it might be just a case of they will run out of time at this point. Still 10 minutes to go, however.
With the change of taking Kay out and putting Burnell on, it's showing he's going for a goal. You want to get something on the board. Burnell did a good job last game, playing the ball up, setting up some offensive pieces. So in the last 10-minute push, it'll be good to have him out there.
There's Babuli carrying forward. Played in. Hamilton, he's onside this time. It's stopped by Noble. A rebound is stopped again by Noble off the foot of Sal Bernal. He wins it right back, however, inside the penalty area. Will carry it through, and his cross into the middle meets the foot of a Harrisburg defender. Babuli. Toronto continuing to press, and as Chantal mentioned, the presence of Sal Bernal making an immediate impact. A couple of scoring chances for Toronto. This is crossed in. That's off the head of Hamilton. Raheem Edwards will try to run it down. And offside flag is up again on Jordan Hamilton.
Great bit of play there to get Hamilton in. Needs to show just a little bit of composure here. Just takes that split second too long. He wanted it on his left foot, but just couldn't. Keeper does well, to be fair, to come out and close him down quickly, but really there you need to be scoring.
I'm not sure how Sal Bernal gets away with that foul there. We've seen much less called, and that was in an excellent area for Toronto. If they had been able to convert that.
Maybe it's only up to his kneecaps, but.
And a credit to the Islanders, they're really not giving Toronto any time on the ball. They had, like we saw with Jordan just there, he had one touch, but he got it off because there are players on his back at all times.
This comes for Babouli. Now Mirabelli. Mirabelli. Chapman. Chapman with a strike, but it's right at the keeper, and Noble will handle that.
Good bit of play there. Sorry, good bit of play there. Chapman, a lot of players on their bad foot won't shoot from there. It's always good to be shooting from 25 yards. Good strike, but unfortunately right at the keeper.
Headed forward by Hagelin, but there's a foul against Andy Luban as we're approaching 83 minutes played here in Toronto. And the Wavy Reds have been pressing over the last 10 or 15 minutes, but they just have not been able to capitalize. That was, I thought, a clear handball for Manny Aparicio. The referee doesn't see it.
One big difference in the last 10 minutes is TFC have been really moving the ball quickly. 1 or 2 touches each time and finding a red.
Hamilton taken down there. The referee says play on as Toronto keeps possession, but now it's out of bounds, and Hamilton in some considerable discomfort on the pitch right now.
You kind of heard his shriek from here, and that's quite a distance, but he's up and gonna walk this one off.
Looked like it may have been a left leg that he's favoring.
Hamilton's a strange one for me. I've known him for 3 or 4 years now, and he's got all the tools in the box. He's strong, he's quick, he can hold the ball up, he can go both ways, but probably the biggest thing you need as a striker, which he needs to add to his game, is goals. And that's one thing this season that's frustrated Jason Bent, is Hamilton hasn't been scoring, and he's getting that little bit older now where it's time where he needs to produce.
And it's something that Chantal and I have touched on over the course of the season, that you want to say he's maybe a little bit snake bitten, as he has been creating the opportunities, but as you said, Terry, just has not been able to find the back of the net nearly as often as he would like. Just 3 goals this season, and it's a number that certainly could be higher based on the way he's played.
Yeah, and I watched him earlier in the summer actually against Tottenham Hotspur of the Premier League, and he looked like one of the best players out on the field there. And you know, on nights like this, with opportunities like that, he needs to take them to progress to the next level if he's going to knock on Vanny's door one day.
And he has seen limited minutes with the first team this season. He's been called up as a reserve a couple of times and did get into one match this season, playing maybe about 5 minutes in Los Angeles at the tail end of a lopsided victory for the Galaxy. There's Mirabelli. That's poked away by Vales. Mirabelli does well to win it back. Sharpie, Aparicio. Mirabelli will cross in. Hamilton takes a little bit of a knock there as he got the ball down, and it's able to be cleared by the Islanders. Hagelin comes down with that, tiptoes the sideline, and pushes forward for Chapman. Switching for Sharpie. For the final 5 plus stoppage time. Through ball intended for Mirabelli. It will just about get there, and it will, and Mirabelli is able to knock it off the defender for a corner. And it's reaching critical time for Toronto to get on the board. And Babouli will run over to quickly set up his corner. It's played in. Hagelin going up looking for the header. Unable to get to it. Babouli. Babouli crosses, much too heavy. Bernal tries to save it, but cannot.
Great bit of skill there to get the cross in, just a little bit heavy there.
And it looked like just prior to sending that, when he was trying to receive it, took a little bit of a hop. And Terry, we talked about this during halftime, that sometimes this artificial turf here at the Ontario Soccer Centre can play tricks on you when you're trying to receive a pass or take a shot.
Yeah, it can be tough. It's not easy changing surfaces from grass to turf, but it looks like it's good turf here, but at times it can skip up on you as maybe it did there.
Substitution here for the Islanders. Shane Johnson will enter, and it will be
in the 87th minute by Harrisburg City Islanders. Entering the match, number 77, Andrew Lubalan. Entering the match,
Andy
number
Luban,
5,
number 77,
Johnson.
is coming out in favor of Shane Johnson.
I know we've not got a goal this half, but I think overall, I think Jason Bent will be happy. We've played some good stuff, and again, it's that thing you guys spoke about all season, really, is we just haven't been able to capitalize and stick one in.
And for Toronto, barring something miraculous in the final 2.5 minutes here, it will be, again, unable to string together consecutive victories and just a couple of defensive lapses, as we've heard from Jason Bent call them this season, moments where they lack concentration. It looks like will cost them some points again tonight. Mirabelli up for Bernal. It is Sharpie winning that away and springing Bernal on the right flank. His cross is headed away by Ken Trebet. That is out off of Sharpie.
Good tackle from Sharpie. Two players I've been impressed with tonight are both fullbacks. I mean, Sharpie and Kay have both been good.
Wesley Sharpie certainly looks like he's finding his form that he had before that ankle injury. This is his second consecutive start. This is 4th game back, and it looks like he's growing more and more comfortable in every appearance since missing about a month.
Definitely. It's really nice to see your fullbacks be offensive-minded. Both Sharpie and Kay aren't afraid to get involved in offensive plays. They send dangerous crosses, which have paid off for Toronto, but unfortunately for this game, we haven't really seen any crosses that anyone has been able to get on.
Sharpie had the assist on Mo Babuli's goal on Saturday off a beautiful cross from just outside the area. And as you said, he's attempted that tonight, but the finishing product has not been there for Toronto. At this point, I imagine all that's left to be decided is whether Toronto will be able to get themselves on the board as we approach 90 minutes. And if they are to get one here, it's likely going to be in stoppage time, and that would mark the 4th consecutive game for Toronto with a stoppage time goal. Unfortunately, only one of those has resulted in any points for them. The previous instances, a 3-1 and a 2-1 defeat. There will be a corner here as we're about 30 seconds away from stoppage time. Babuli plays it in low and short, and it looked like it was intended for to come to Hamilton there, but it was cleared out by Schaffer, and Toronto will throw. And this is cleared out again by the Islanders, and it will be again a throw for
Fourth
Toronto.
official has indicated a minimum of 4 minutes has been added. 4 minutes
Harrisburg really are
has been
not taking
added.
any risk. They're clearing these balls. They're sending these balls long.
Foul called there on Toronto, and it will be free kick taken the other way for Harrisburg. Actually, correction, will be a throw in. Jason Bent having a word with the 4th official right now, and some of the Toronto players unhappy with some of the tactics from the visitors here right now. And on the counter-attack, they've got an opportunity here with Plumoff. That's deflected off of Haglund and will go out for a corner. Harrisburg likely to take as much time here as they can. They will play it short and look like just try to control with the possession game. Pettis working against Hagelin and Edwards down there, and Edwards has won a free kick, which is taken quickly. Looking to push up for Babuli, a little too far, and headed back the other way by Cruz. Working in is Ekra. Ekra right in. Ekra's cross bounces right to Alex Bono, and he will handle that one assuredly and now boot this up the field. Babuli A little bit of contact there with Leverock. And Trebet will be able to knock this out.
Garrett, behind you. Talk, boys.
As we approach about halfway of this stoppage time here, Terry, what are some of the positives that we might be able to take out of this game for Toronto, despite no goals on the board?
As I mentioned a little bit earlier, I think both fullbacks have been great. I think Hangeland's 45 minutes, I think that was important. He's looked sharp. He looks ready for first-team action if called upon. I think, though we've not taken them, we have again created 3 or 4 good opportunities. And I don't know whether we've seen it yet on TV, but JB's pink tie is pretty good.
Well, we certainly saw it in the halftime interview with Chantal. A little bit of a different style that we've seen. Offside flag up on Jordan Hamilton.
Looks good, but not the lucky tie, I guess.
Not this time, anyway.
Guys, one at a time, man, one at a time.
Headed forward by Hagelin. And Hamilton, I think, was offside again there as he was sort of lollygagging to get back into position. About a minute remaining here in the added time. 4 minutes minimum announced by the fourth official. We've played 3 of that. And Wesley Sharpie knocks that out of bounds. Will be a throw in here.
As a player, this sometimes can be frustrating when there's a minute left and teams are taken into the corner. A lot of the time it ends the player up getting hurt or kicked up in the air. I'm not a big fan of that.
What is the best, I guess, technique when you are trying to defend that to try and create some open space without causing an injury?
Probably just keeping the ball and playing in behind, turning teams, because they're pressurizing you to get the ball back. Or just go down and score.
And there is the final whistle. It will be a disappointing result for Toronto FC2 tonight. I wouldn't call it a disappointing effort by any stretch, but just unable to capitalize on their chances as we've seen a few times this season, and they will fall 2-0 to Harrisburg City, unable to string together back-to-back victories for the first time in franchise history. Chantal, your thoughts on tonight's game?
I think the major difference between the two teams this game is that Harrisburg played consistent the whole game. They came out strong, and I think Toronto had a more lackadaisical first half compared to second. Harrisburg needed this win. They came out strong, and I think having Ekra back in their roster really made a difference. Toronto, yes, second half came out a bit stronger, created more opportunities, kind of set the pace a bit more, but unfortunately, the opportunities they created, they can't capitalize.
And Terry, it's a short turnaround before the next game on Saturday, another home game here Saturday evening. How does Jason Bent prepare the troops for what is going to be a 4th game in 11 days?
There won't be a lot of training from now till Saturday. A lot of it will be regen work, stuff in the hot tubs and cold tubs, and working with masseurs. Lots of video of the upcoming team, and they'll watch the game again tonight, see what they could have done better and what they did well.
It is a final here at the Ontario Soccer Centre. Harrisburg City Islanders 2, goals from Craig Foster and Brett Jankowskis, 1 in the first half and 1 early in the second half. Toronto FC 2-0. They are unable to crack the score sheet, and Nick Noble will collect his 6th shutout of the season. He is now 9-8-4 on the season. Our next game will be this Saturday evening. It's a game under the lights here at the Ontario Soccer Centre. It is an 8 o'clock kickoff as Toronto FC2 will look to rebound from their loss tonight, and they will look to find themselves back in the win column. The New York Red Bulls 2 are coming to town, and we will have all the action for you beginning at 8 o'clock. For our entire technical and production crew, for Terry Dunfield and Chantal Blais, I'm Matt DiNicolantonio. Thank you for joining us this evening. Have a wonderful Wednesday night from Toronto.